So I've called this one Where We've Been, Where We Are, and Where We're Going. Fascism. World fascism. If you go to the World Book Encyclopedia and look up fascism, it's got an article on fascism, and it says, life under fascism. Political life. In most cases, fascists have come to power after the nation has suffered an economic collapse, sound familiar? A military defeat, or some other disaster. The fascists win mass support by promising to revive the economy and restore national pride. They may also appeal to the fear of communism or hatred of Jews or other minorities. Usually a dictator with a great popular appeal becomes the leader of the government. A great popular appeal. And so the people put all their hopes and faith on him. Fascists permit no other political party, no opposition to their policies. The fascists desire national glory, leads to an increase in military spirit and a buildup of the armed forces. And after the military forces become strong, they may invade and occupy other countries. We're talking world fascism, America, Roman fascism. The organizations, which consist both of workers and employees, are called corporations. And these are fascist corporations. Then it says a fascist country is sometimes referred to as a corporate state. And that's what we have. The United States is a corporation. It's a privately owned corporation. We can talk about that later maybe. Personal liberty is severely limited under a fascist government. The government also controls newspapers, radio, and other means of communication in the country. It issues propaganda to promote its policies and practices strict censorship to silence opposing views. That's what we have in America today. Strict censorship by foreign people out of Rome who have come here. They're called Jesuits. It's called Jesuit, it's called Catholic, it's called Roman, it's called fascism. A fasci is a bundle of sticks with a hatchet. A bundle of sticks tied together with a hatchet is called a fascis. A fascis is a bundle of rods containing an axe with the blade projecting born before the Roman magistrate as an emblem of official power. In the ancient world, almost all ancient civilizations that have ever existed used the same symbol for divine power in government. Always was an axe. The axe was always a symbol for political power. So today, they're going to fire you, you're going to get the axe. Because the axe symbolizes a final cutoff. Caesar is absolute master. And whatever it is he puts his hand down on the axe, that's it. You're through. Your head rolls. So a fascis is a bundle of sticks with a hatchet head. Now, why a bundle of sticks? Because one stick can be broken. But you put a bundle of sticks, and it becomes known as as Bush used to talk about, a coalition. We have a coalition of states. A coalition, yeah. A bunch of fascists getting together. Yeah. Instead of one Crips or Blood confronting, no, if 17 of them come together, now you've got a problem, right? So it's a coalition, yeah. But it's not so easy to beat when there's 15 of them around your car as it is for one. So we're talking about a fasci is a bundle of sticks, a coalition of nations, and they're all fascists and they're all working together. So it's a gang war, one gang against another gang. There it is, a Roman fascis used on Roman coins. It was a symbol of power in the Roman Empire. It says here, the lictor who held the fasces, this was an axe bound with a bundle of sticks, symbolized the official's power to punish and execute people. All he's got to do is say, this guy's head goes off, and he's God. He is Caesar, and that's it. So the axe represented the power to kill, the power of Caesar. And the axe, of course, as I said, was always very sacred symbol. I've got books on this one subject of the sacred axe. There was a sacred axe in the Roman Empire. Here's another symbol of the fasci from Rome. So you'll find the fasci all over in World War II. Yeah, here's goofies today playing like Caesar, and they're carrying the fasci and have no idea in the world what that symbol represents. It's the most reprehensible, in my opinion, most reprehensive, filthiest, and degenerate symbol for giving one man the power over a whole nation to kill whoever he chooses to and do whatever he wants with the people. That's fascism. And that's why in Washington, D.C., you will always see on each side of the president fascis. Absolute, total Roman fascism, totalitarian Roman state. And anybody that don't like it is going to prison. They'll find a misplaced comma on your income tax and you will go to jail. And incredible. It's on the American dimes.
Is that why the Pope came to the U.S. in May of 2008?
Say again?
The Pope came to the U.S. to Washington, D.C. on May 15 of 2008.
Yeah, you know, and he went to New York, to New York to what do they call it, Ground Zero. But I thought it was interesting. Go back and look at it. The Pope came to New York to honor, what happened in New York, and he went to Ground Zero in New York City on April 10th, 2009. April 10th, Hitler's birthday. The birthday of Adolf Hitler.
20th. My birthday is
20th then. That's when he was there. Sie kamen, Führer. We took France in 17 days. Here you have the crossing of the fasces, and you'll see the papal mitre, the papal symbol beneath the crossing of the fasces. That's a very, very powerful Roman symbol. The two fasces crossing. That's a Roman Catholic symbol. There it is again, the crossing of the fasces. Roman symbol for the United States Senate. Because in ancient Rome, Caesar, the reference books will tell you, all the encyclopedias will tell you that Caesar's seat of power, where he sat to rule Rome, was on a hill called Capitoline Hill, or Capitol Hill. And on Capitol Hill, Caesar each morning would go up to be the official over the Roman Senate. And so today we have people who think they're God going up on the hill, and we hear that. Yeah, well, up on the hill today, so the president said this, and the president said that. What you're talking about is fascist masters up on the Capitoline Hill. Oh, the red cap is the Phrygian cap of revolution. That's a whole different, that's another story, the Phrygian cap. It has to do with sex. It's a sexual symbol, and it was used in Rome, but that's another story. Well, yes?
The Phrygians write Revelation.
Yeah, well, the Phrygian cap, it's called the Phrygian cap of revolution. Anyway, I don't want to get off the subject. The point being now is that the United States Senate, the symbol is the crossing of the Roman Catholic fasces. And like I said, Caesar is up on the hill overseeing the Senate. Here we go back to the axe again. In Egypt, the axe was God. I have all of this, I think, I'm not sure if I have this on a video. Joe, is this stuff on the 3 books? We don't have that on it.
Well, that's the priesthood of the Ulis.
That's right. Okay. All of this stuff I'm telling you right now is on a video, is on a DVD I have, which is called Priesthood of the Elis. So you need to get this Priesthood of the Elis because it's an incredible story. It explains the axes, the axe, and why it was called the Axis powers, Adolf Hitler's Axis powers, and how the axe was used by each one of these ancient empires. That Priesthood of the Elis, yeah, that's good, thank you. It's called Priesthood of the Elis. I thought I had it. Priesthood of the Elis, it's 3 books in one, and it's text only. Not a video, it's a text, but it's 3 different books written by the same author on all of the heavy-duty occultism of world government, Catholic Church, religion, the Senate, who the Congress was, and where these words have come from. Extraordinary stuff. It's probably one of the most interesting books, the 3 books in one. And I put them all 3 together in one and called it the Priesthood of the Elis, because in the old Babylonian system, the gods were called the Ils, I-L-E-S, Ils, and they lived up in the hills. And so, Priesthood of the Elis, you'll want to get because it's got all of this stuff I'm talking about tonight. It's all on there. Anyway. No, it's just documents only. It's just 3 books. It's three books put into one. One long book. I don't know, it's about 300 pages or more. But every page is just filled with stuff that will blow your mind. Where what the symbols mean, what the words meant, how Caesar did what he did, and what the words were in the ancient Roman, and how they're translated into English today, what the courts were, why the Pope is called the Holy See, what the word see meant. So, I mean, it's a fascinating study. It's called The Priesthood of the Elis. I think I've plugged this enough. But I'm telling you, if you're interested in occultism and mysticism, and the high mysticism of world government and world religion, Priesthood of the Elis. I got a few left. So, in America, the axe was God. We saw that with the president. Sees on each side of the president, you will see. And of course, the playing cards has the kings. Oh, I think I even have it in here. In America, the axe was God. In Rome, the axe was God. Again, the Roman fasces. Here we have the word fasces comes from the word fas, F-A-S. There are 2 words in the Roman language. One is J-U-S. J-U-S gives us word justice. J-U-S in Latin is man's law. The law of man in Latin is called J-U-S, from which we get our word justice. But the word fas, F-A-S, that which is right and just in the sight of God, as distinguished from just, which is more frequently referred to as the right in the aspect of man-made law. So there are 2 kinds of law. There's fas, which is God's law, or just, which is man's law. And so fas, which gives us the word fascism, divine law. And so the kings of Europe, kings of England, kings all over Europe, and princes, and all of the royalty, we say that they have a divine right of kings. But no one's ever stopped to think, what are you talking about, divine right? That sounds like God appointed them. Well, in fact, no, God didn't appoint anybody. This is a man-made trick. Men come up with all this crap. It's all man-made stuff. But when you're talking about God's law, you're talking about the Pope. You're talking about the Vatican. Because in Europe, all the royalty are made royalty by the blessing of the Pope. And so that's why you can say that you have a divine right, because the papacy and the Pope has anointed you to be King of England. So therefore, you have a divine right. Why? Well, because he represents God, and he said you could be king. The problem is he could also say tomorrow night that God decided he don't want you to be king anymore. So it's a man-made system. So fas is simply divine law or command. The bundle of rods. That's why Jesus is holding the bundle of rods. Fascism and world conflict. Remember Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy. You'll see the fasci on his emblem. Here's Mussolini meeting with his international banker friends in Italy. Here's the Italian flag with the fasci. The eagle is perched on the fasci, and this is interesting because this is in Italy, and Benito Mussolini's symbol is an eagle perched on a fasci. Again, fasci is divine law. Well, here is how it's divine law. Here's where we get the idea of divine law. Here's Benito Mussolini getting the imprimatur of the Pope. The Pope has declared Mussolini to be the divine emperor of the new Italian state. And so Mussolini has to go there with all of his other high school friends. And yeah, and so there's Mussolini signing the Concordat. There was a Concordat. It's a contract that Mussolini had to sign with the Pope to become emperor of Italy. Here they are signing it at the Vatican, signing the papers. And now here it is at the Vatican. Vatican City State comes into being. There's Mussolini with the Pope and all the clergy. And I'm not going to stay too long on these quotes. Just going to go through it pretty quick. Mussolini had a fascist friend named Adolf Hitler. Hitler was also a fascist. Between the two of them, there were two sticks. And then they gathered some other nations to come in with them, and then it became known as a coalition. Two fascists, and there it is, Hitler and Mussolini, the eagle with the fascist head, the axe. On one side you'll see the fasci, and on the other side you'll see the eagle perched on the sun, swastika. Just as Mussolini had to kiss up to the boss of all bosses in Rome, how many of you saw Godfather 3, the third one? Remember Michael Corleone, the mobster from one of the families, and he's in the Vatican and doing business with the Pope, directly with the Pope. And at the beginning of Godfather 3, Michael is in New York City being anointed in the Catholic Church by the cardinal in New York to make him a member of the Knights of Malta. Knights of Malta is a Masonic lodge within the Catholic Church. And these guys are really bloodthirsty. You talk about fascists and Nazis, mess with the Knights of Malta. They are serious bad. So here we have Mussolini again with the papal authorities signing the new contract so he can become emperor. But they have to go to, he always has to go to Rome first. You don't form your own family without getting Michael Corleone to agree to it. The old man says you don't form your own family. So until the Pope says that you can be an emperor, you don't claim anything till the old man says so. So there's Mussolini with all of his cohorts and the Pope. So Hitler and the Nazis had to do the same thing. So they had to go sign a contract with the old mob boss in Rome. So Hitler goes to Rome and signs a contract in Rome. There he is at the Vatican, Adolf Hitler with the Pope. And there he is, there's Hitler's two representatives, and they're sitting there with the Pope, having a picture taken when they're signing a contract with the Pope also. So when I hear all of this stuff about the Jews this and the Jews that, and the Jews are doing this and the Jews are doing that, and the Jews are responsible for this or that, my feeling is you better go back and do some homework. You don't have it yet. The Jews don't run anything, period. They're good with figures. They're good because they got good minds, and they're great with law and with figures and banking. And so the powers that be behind the world throne uses Jews because they're good. They know what they're doing. But the power, the real power, is in the Holy Father. And that's why Jews are told to wear the yarmulke, because the Pope wears the yarmulke. And Jews wear the round yarmulke thinking it's a Jewish symbol. It is not Jewish symbol at all. Yarmulke is a Roman symbol. That's why the Pope wears the yarmulke. And all the cardinals wear the yarmulke. It's a Roman symbol. And the Jews were told to wear the yarmulke to show that you are in subjection to the Holy Father, because he's the boss of all bosses in Europe and around the world, period. Jews don't stand a chance when it comes to the real powers of this world who are actually running governments behind the scenes. You're talking about fascist world power. You're talking about the Pope in Rome, not the Jews. Better go back and do some homework. That's, what's his name? Goebbels. So when Hitler spoke of the Third Reich, meaning the Third Empire, he was speaking about the restoration of the Holy Roman Empire. The papacy symbols with the swastika. That's in the Vatican. Pictures of the Nazi Catholic priest. Hitler with the papal nuncio. Catholic cardinals. Secretary of State. Here's the papal Secretary of State leaving a meeting with Adolf Hitler. Another one. Here's another one. See the Nazis standing on both sides, and there's the papal Secretary of State leaving. So, Hitler was always like to have his picture taken coming out of churches. It makes you look religious. And, yeah. And of course, he would bow his head in prayer. Better, because the Holy Father, will have your head. Because he don't give a damn how smart you think you are or how powerful you think you are. You mess with the Holy Father and you're a dead man. Period. So Hitler had to appeal to the Catholic Church and basically do whatever the church says do. So here you have the Catholic clergy hiling Hitler, Catholic priests hiling Hitler. Nazi soldiers watching these fruitcakes walk by. Yeah. Catholic cardinals overseeing the troops, overseeing the Nazi troops. Catholic priest standing up there. Nazi Catholic. Nazi celebration for the Catholic bishop. Here are the SS and Gestapo guys going to church. Yeah, it kind of makes you feel warm all over knowing that these guys are going to church. Then they go out and kill babies and children. There's the Catholic cross with the swastika. See, a lot of this history people do not know. That Adolf Hitler was put into power by the Vatican, not Jews. As a matter of fact, all of the royalty of Europe are put there by the papacy. That's why they have a divine, as I said, a divine right. They're put there by the papacy. Jews didn't put them there. The Vatican put them there. Reich Catholic bishop with the Nazis. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that was going on in Germany, in Nazi Germany, that people have never been told. Where Adolf Hitler got his money, where he got the backing, how he was being financed. Here's Cardinal Pacelli, later became known as Pope Pius XII. Cardinal Pacelli used to go to Hitler's residence to bring the orders from the Pope. Also, General Franco in Spain, he had to bow and kiss the ring too. General Franco in Spain, who was also a fascist, General Franco, the fascist dictator of Spain, all the military would line up to go kiss the Holy Father's ring. Because you don't build an empire unless you talk to the boss first. You go and show respect to the old man. You go into and kiss the ring and get on your knees. Yeah. Back to Mussolini and the Vatican Euro-fascism. As I said, you see Mussolini and the priest hailing Hitler. Mussolini going to visit the convents where all the nuns are. All the Nazis with the priest. The military loves to bow down, kneel, and kiss the ring of the emperor. And so today, even in America, when the Pope comes to America, America crawls on its knees before the Roman emperor. What a pathetic situation. Americans crawling on their knees to a foreign dignitary. The Vichy government, this is in France. The Vichy government were Frenchmen who took the side of Hitler and protected the Pope. And so the point I'm making here is that the clergy of the Catholic Church are responsible for Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, General Latissimo, Franco. There's another Vatican Nazi group called Ustashi, that's the way I pronounce it. Now, of all the Vatican military establishments, Ustashi is in Croatia. These guys were top of the line, big time murderers. The Nazis, they were on the Nazi side during the Second World War, but the Nazis wrote about Ustashi in Croatia, and they said these people are crazy. Now, when you get the Nazi SS and the Gestapo saying that those people over there are crazy, the Nazis didn't want to have anything to do with these people because they are loony. They're killing anything, children, dogs, women, raping and plundering. These guys are really off the wall. They love the Lord Jesus, and they're crawling on their knees to the Pope, and you'll see some of the stuff they did. Yes?
I'm from Croatia. We pronounce it Ustashi. We pronounce the U and de-emphasize the ashi.
Ustashi.
Ustashi.
Then you know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Croatian Catholic clergy. There they are, the Franciscan monks. And today we think of, oh, they're so holy, the Franciscan monks. Holy? You better go back and find out who these holy orders of Franciscan monks really are. Clergy with the military. There's something called the Vatican rat line. How many of you have ever heard of the rat line? The rat line was when Germany was losing the war. Once it was decided by the generals that the war was lost and the Germans were going to lose. Well, they didn't, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure that out. When all of Russia is on one side and all the Americans are on the other side, and they're only about 5 miles from town, you can figure you probably have lost a war. It's probably over. And so the Vatican immediately wanted to get all the top Nazis out of Germany quickly, all the scientists, all the intellectuals. So they formed a secret group called the Vatican Rat Line. And the Rat Line, of course, is on a ship, when it's parked in the harbor, it's tied off at the harbor, and when the ship is unseaworthy, for some reason, rats, as dumb as they are, know the ship is not seaworthy, so the rats come down the rope and get off of the ship. And so it's called the Rat Line. Well, the rats that were working for the Vatican, we call them the Nazi hierarchy, they knew that the war was lost, so they had to get out of Germany because the Russians are coming and they're looking for you. And the Americans are looking for you too, but the Russians, they are really looking for you. For what you did to Moscow, there's a big payback coming. And so all the top Nazis were slipped out of Germany quickly through the Vatican. They were taken into the Vatican, give false passports, false ID, and quickly through the CIA. The CIA worked with the Vatican to get all the top Nazis out of Germany quickly. So before anything happens, at least save the brains of Germany, all the Nazi brains. And so they were sent to Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Mexico, and the really dirty ones, the real top of the line Nazi murderers, they were brought to Washington, D.C., and they founded what we call the CIA and NASA. NASA is a Nazi organization with Dr. Werner von Braun and all the German Nazis that came out of Germany under Hitler. I mean, this is a real story when you find out how this government really works. So it's called the Rat Line. The Vatican, the Nazis, and the New World Order. Here was some of the escapees that the Vatican got out of Germany quickly. Adolf Eichmann, Klaus Barbie, Joseph Mengele. These are just some of the main Nazis that the Vatican quickly gave them money and false passports to get them out of Germany. The Serbs were encouraged to show respect and love for the Vatican's Holy Father. You go back. The Serbs were encouraged to show respect and love for the Vatican's Holy Father by converting to Catholicism. So the idea is that the Vatican wanted the Serbs to convert to Catholicism, and they would force them to convert. And it's very easy to force people to convert because the alternative is to have your head cut off. And so here is the priest blessing the new Catholics. Because if you didn't convert, this is what you got. They would chop your head off. They would saw your head off with a saw. Here they are sawing this guy's head off. They're proud to show you, this is the head we just cut off. Here they're chopping a guy's head off. Another one, they're chopping his head off. Catholic priests even had posters. Here's another one. The guy is cutting this guy's throat, and the other guy is holding a bowl under it to catch the blood. Here are the killing people en masse. So it kind of reminds me of the Vatican Inquisition. How many of you are aware of something called the Inquisition? Yeah. Well, that's what's going on in Washington, D.C. under the Bushes. The Inquisition, the Holy Father, and all that crap. Yeah. The Inquisition, where they tortured people. We found out that you do not love the Holy Father and you do not love the Lord Jesus. Well, this is what you're going to get. And so when you find out all this torture, burning people at the stake, torture, all kinds of hideous demonic depravity, burning human beings alive on a stake. Humans had to be put on a stake and burned while the Holy Father sat there and blessed the whole thing. Waterboarding, burning at the stake, torture, taking a baby and pounding its head against a post, hanging their family, driving nails into human foot, is just incredible, the torture that was meted out to human beings by the Vatican, sawing people in two with saws. This is the Catholic Church, not the Jews, Rome. Back to the symbol of fascism and what it means for you and your family today. Fos means God's law, divine law. 2,700 years Rome has dominated Europe, and through Europe the entire world has been dominated for 2,700 years by Rome. So for the last 1,685 years, the popes in the Vatican has been the boss of all bosses of both secular and spiritual, so that all who would rule today, Europe and America, by divine right, do so through the Holy Father in Rome as a representative of God on the earth. So here you have Nancy Pelosi kissing the ring of a foreign dictator. Now, you know, if today it would be called treason, but most people don't know what treason means because nobody uses it anymore. But as an American, if you're bowing down and kissing the ring of a foreign dictator, that tells you where America's at. There was a time in America when we were free people standing up for freedom and liberty and having nothing to do with foreign dictators. Today, we have these pusillanimous traitors bowing down and kissing the ring of a foreign dictator. This is a very sick country. You'll see the king, and he's holding the earth with the cross on it. So here is how this fasci Roman Vatican plays into our world today. Here's God. He's always pictured in a triangle. Three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Osiris, Isis, Horus, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Always a triune God because it goes back to Egypt. The pyramid is a triangle. But you'll see he's holding in his hand, God is holding in his hand the earth. And one day God had a son. His name was Jesus. So God's son grew up and was named Jesus. Now, later God's son became King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So now he's the King of all kings and Lord of all lords. Why? Because God the Father created and owned the earth, and he holds the earth in his hands, so to speak. So if God owns the earth and all things on it, and he holds the earth in his hands, well, that's why the kings use that symbol. Because that's the earth dominated by the Roman Catholic religion, the cross of Caesar. So now God's Son has been given the right to own and rule the earth and all life on it for God his Father, so Jesus has the right to rule the earth any way he chooses. So therefore, the theology is that the church teaches that Jesus is now the owner of the earth and everything on it. And his earth, it belongs to him alone. So in fact, he is the sovereign over the whole earth. Jesus is the owner and the sovereign over the whole earth. And he is a good and kind sovereign, but a sovereign nonetheless. So he holds the earth in his hands. And it follows that the first responsibility of a sovereign is to lay down the laws for us, his earthly subjects. So therefore, we all have to submit ourselves to God's law, the law of God, from Mount Sinai, with volcanoes and mushrooms and all the rest of that crap. You know, those laws would be binding on all people of the earth because those laws are in fact God's law. So God has given us his law through Moses. But since God's Son, Jesus, is living with his Father in heaven, so Jesus is up in heaven now with God's Father, God the Father. So somebody has to be appointed by God to stand in for and represent the sovereign of the earth, Jesus. Since Jesus owns the earth, he's the absolute sovereign over the earth, but he's not here right now. He's busy elsewhere, so he's not here. So somebody has to run the earth for Jesus until he comes back. So to administer his laws and world government for the people of the earth, Jesus is the God of all the earth. And of course, the kings of the earth, the princes, and in this way, the Middle Ages, the church was always behind the kings, always advising them, because the king realized that Jesus owns the earth. So don't do anything as a king until you talk to the Holy Father, because that's how you got to have that divine right. And if he decides that you've done something he didn't tell you to do, he will withdraw that divine right, and then they're going to cut the king's head off. Just like John F. Kennedy, the Catholic who decided he wanted to do something for America. And he figured the Catholic Church is not going to tell him what to do. He's going to do what he wants to do, and he said that. And when in his inauguration speech, he said, "I'm accepting the presidency of the United States as a free American, and I'll not be beholden to any foreign power on my decisions." Well, they took care of him quick enough. He won't do that no more. So there he is, the Holy Father, who incidentally was a Nazi, and still is. And there's our president bowing down and curtsying to a foreign power. This stuff scares me because I realize how serious this really is. When the United States government and the president is conspiring with foreign powers like Rome, no wonder you have waterboarding and torture and bloodshed all over the Middle East. There's some heavy-duty political stuff going on here, and Rome is behind it. The Holy Father, here's the Holy Father in the White House, the Capitol. Incidentally, the Washington Monument, this is just a little incidental point. The Washington Monument is an obelisk. It's an Egyptian obelisk. Egyptian obelisks always represented the male phallic. Okay? Washington Monument was a male erection. And it always connected to the oval or the female ovaries, the Oval Office. Sexual symbol, Rome, bloodshed, violence, volcanoes. It's all fun. It's all incredible crap. At the Vatican, Bush is visiting the Holy Father. I got to tell you, there's nothing holy in Rome. There's Jeb Bush on his knees before the Holy Father. Yeah, he joined Jeb Bush, is knighted into the Knights of Columbus. And you'll see the Knights of Columbus symbol is a fasci. Yeah, here she is, Democrat Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, kissing the ring. Now, this particular picture, the Pope looks like a demonic. Yeah. He looks demonic, doesn't he? He's saying, yeah, kiss it.
I am your father.
I am your father. Not going to do that anymore. So here you got both sides, Democrat, Republican, and the papacy in between. Always in the middle of everything is the papacy in New York. Nixon and Kennedy, the Vatican. Obama, the Vatican. Obama on one side and that other goofball airhead on the other. Yeah, and the Vatican in between. And all the people around, all the people down and below and above, they're all very happy to be there with the papacy and the Holy Father and all this. And they're all just delighted as punch to be there in the presence of the filthiest, most degenerate fascist world ruler the world has ever known. And Americans just love it. They cannot get enough of crawling on their knees to the Emperor and to the Holy Father and to the Queen Mum. When Queen Mum comes over here, people fall all over themselves. Americans are the most ignorant, ill-informed, dim-witted people on the face of the damn earth. I'd like to see a whole new renaissance of intellectual, spiritual revolution in the world. Look, this may explain the European Union. Constitution was signed for the new European Union in Rome before a statue of the Pope. This is where the European Union was founded, in Rome, before the Holy Father. So today when you hear about the Euro and the European Union, it's Roman. The Holy Father has decided he's had enough of all this BS about freedom, liberty, and justice, and all of these people running around with their silly nonsense about freedom and liberty and justice. So they're going to teach you a lesson. Nobody tells Caesar that they're free. Nobody. Period. So you're going to break your country, destroy your economy, destroy your youth. We're going to destroy everything that you have ever built up, and one day you're going to crawl on your knees to the Holy Emperor of Rome. And then you're going to remember when your founding fathers told the church to screw off, and from here on out, you're not allowed to come into this country. This country is going to be free. And then Rome does not forget. Rome did not forget that, what the founding fathers of America did. And so when you tell the boss of all bosses that from now on you stay over there in Europe and you do whatever you're going to do over there, but you don't come here. And the Catholic Church was not allowed to operate in the colonies. Was not allowed to operate here. Catholics could not operate in America, period. Because if nothing else, the Freemasons who founded America realized we don't want that screwball with all of his henchmen and murderers coming over here to run this country. And so what the Catholic Church did is they immediately sent people into the Jesuits, came to Mexico, and came in from the back door. Then they started coming up the back door, opening up missions on California coast, knowing that the country was moving west. Well, they got the missions all up and down California and Oregon, the Catholic missions, and started working their way eastward into Nevada, New Mexico, and Wyoming with the Catholic missions. So a mission, anybody who's been in the military will tell you the word mission is a military term. Like Mission Impossible, it's a military term. So Catholic missions were a military order that was trying to overthrow the new republic. And so on the East Coast, it was a republic. The United States of America was a republic, and it was moving westward. Well, the Catholic Church came in through Mexico quickly and sent the military. They sent the Jesuits, who were a military order, into California and all up and down the California coast, setting up military establishments like forts, like we did. We set up forts and then move on, set up a fort and then move on. Well, that's what they did. They call them California missions. And so the missions were a political mission of the Jesuits to overthrow the United States of America. So if they can't stop them from the East Coast, at least you can work backwards. And so that's why today we have people running around, oh, aren't these beautiful missions? Signing the pact for the euro in Rome before. Say it again?
Yeah, the statue was.
One of the popes. Oh, we don't want to forget the Vatican's Knights of Malta, who helped the Pope make his deception and human carnage possible, the Knights of Malta. It's a military order. The Knights of Malta is a military, sovereign military order of Malta. There's the Knights of Malta cross.
What about the Rothschilds?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So, the Maltese cross. Here's British wearing the Maltese cross. This guy looks like he really thinks of himself as really important. And here's Queen Mum, probably one of the biggest criminals the world has ever allowed to be on the earth. One of the biggest criminals that's ever lived, the Queen Mum of England. And here's Kaiser Wilhelm. He's wearing the Maltese cross too, German. There's Cardinal Pacelli with Kaiser Wilhelm behind him, the cardinal who became Pope Pius XII. There he is with the Kaiser and the Germans. So the military wears the Knights of Malta. General Reinhard Gehlen. This is a very interesting man in the middle, General Reinhard Gehlen. Reinhard Gehlen was chief of security for Adolf Hitler on the Eastern Front. So he was chief of security for the Nazi party between Germany and Russia. So he was in charge of all security for Germany facing Russia. Reinhard Gehlen was knighted by the Pope, became known as a Knights of the Order of Malta. And Reinhard Gehlen, with 4 other men in America, never can remember their names, but there's like 4 or 5 men that founded an organization in America, and they were all members of the Knights of Malta. And they founded an organization during the war called the OSS, Office of Strategic Services. The OSS was founded in America by Reinhard Gehlen, Knights of Malta, Nazi, and Wild Bill Donovan, Bill Casey, Donovan, Reinhard Gehlen, 2 or 3 other men. It's all this is a history. Anybody can read it in a history book. But all 5 of these men founded an organization, a secret organization, a military organization for the Knights of Malta in America. It was called the OSS. Then after the Second World War, OSS became known as CIA. The CIA was founded by Reinhard Gehlen, servant of Adolf Hitler, and Casey, Wild Bill Donovan. All these guys were Catholic Knights of Malta who give us today the CIA and Homeland Security. This whole thing really stinks of Nazism, fascism, and I'd like to see the damn Catholic Church kicked out of this country. That's what I feel.
Was Prescott Bush one of them?
Who?
Prescott Bush?
Prescott Bush.
Oh, God, yeah. Big time. Yeah, the Black Pope is the head of the Jesuits.
And the Knights of Malta as well, and the White Pope.
Yeah, well, the Rothschilds were bankers, of course, but some of the reference books that I was looking at, like for instance in the Encyclopedia Judica, talked about the Rothschilds were commissioned by the Vatican to deal with the Vatican's money. So Rothschild was not dealing with his own money, but he was handling the money for the Vatican. So that would explain why one little old Jewish man could be so powerful. It was not because he had all, where would he get all that kind of money to be so powerful? No. He was merely handling money because he was good with figures and money and banking and was very good with it and had sons who were very highly intelligent, well trained in it. So the Vatican allowed the Rothschilds to manipulate their finances for them. So they were the Vatican bankers. So here's the Knights of Malta with the swastika, Hitler swastika in the Knights of Malta. Keeping in mind, the Knights of Malta is a Catholic organization, and there's the Nazi cross in between.
What do the 8 points symbolize?
Oh, that's interesting. That goes back to Holy Blood, Holy Grail. That's in France. 8 points in France, and that's a whole different story, but it's 8 places in the south of France where the different Knights Templar lodges and castles, they call them, what do they call them, chateaus. The Knights, Masonic Order of Knights Templars had 8 different spots, and if you draw a connection between them, it makes a 8-pointed star. Here's the Archbishop of Canterbury, the head of the Church of England. The Church of England wearing a Nazi Knights of Malta Catholic cross, called the Maltese cross. Here it is again. This is a Catholic order in Europe and Spain, I think. Want to know where you get the Ku Klux Klan from? And here's a real fruitcake. I mean, this guy is a real Fruit Loop. A big-time drag queen. Just think, this drag queen wanted to be president of the United States. Yeah, that's him. You know, this picture alone would tell you how really decadent and sexually filthy these people really, really are. Yeah. That's him. Giuliani. Giuliani's dressing like a woman, dancing in the nightclub on the bottom. That's Giuliani. Who didn't see anything wrong at all with 9/11, with New York, all 3 falling down at free fall speed into dust. Didn't bother him any. Now you know why. I swear to God, I mean, I'm just amazed what the American people take and have no idea in the world what's going on, who these people really are and what they're really doing.
How much of that's chemtrails and fluoride?
Say it again?
How much of that is really chemtrails and fluoride?
Oh, Lord, yeah, that's a whole nother subject, chemtrails. 99% of Americans look at it and think, oh, well, that's just a jet trail. Vatican Nazi Iron Cross. This is one of my favorite subjects, this one is. Here's what we call the Iron Cross, which is a symbol associated with Germany, of course. The Iron Cross can be traced back into ancient history. The Iron Cross. It's a Masonic Order, Iron Cross. Oh, I'm sorry, that was wrong. Okay, there it is. But here is the Masonic Order, and they're wearing the Iron Cross in red. There it is again, the Masonic Iron Cross. And here's Masters of the Universe wearing the Iron Cross. You'll see his blonde hair, blue-eyed Nazi German fascist Nazi Iron Cross. Arco, Iron Cross. Here's the fire department, LA, Los Angeles Fire Department, with the Iron Cross. There's the Pope. You'll see the cross, the Iron Cross on the papal tiara. So I'm just telling you that, you know, the history of Rome and the history of Europe and the history that's of America, there's a big story here that people have never been privy to be told. And boy, when you find out who these people really are and how this stuff actually works, you're going to be really amazed. And this was the Pentagon many years ago. They had the Iron Cross for a helicopter landing. where the helicopters land was an iron cross. It's on churches. Here's Hitler, all dressed up with an iron cross. The British, who helped put him into power, going over the Sea of Fury. The Queen of England and the King of England has the Iron Cross over the earth. And now, of course, we have the church today in America. The Christian church today in America. You'll see the Iron Cross over the mushroom crown. The Iron Cross. There's the Iron Cross in Nazi Germany. And if you're a hardcore Christian, you can buy the Iron Cross. It's called Hardcore Christian. Yeah, believe me, when you're wearing a Nazi Iron Cross, you are a hardcore Christian, boy. You don't get any hardcore than that. There it is, Hardcore Christian, Iron Cross of German Nazi. There it is. So does that tell you anything about the, yeah, does that tell you anything about the church, the Christian church in America? Is there a message here?
Yes.
So the Catholic Church and all the other churches, all of them together, are referred to in the Bible as the whore of Babylon. These people are nothing but a bunch of whores, and they're doing business with anybody and anything. It's all business. You kill, rape, murder. It's just business, nothing personal. All the conspiracy against the human race is made possible by our fascist press, newspapers and magazines, the fascist press. So I guess that's it. I would just, yeah, thank you. So I suppose the bottom line on all of this is quite simply, I would suggest that each one of you begin to re-look at spirituality from a different point of view. And just understand that synagogues, churches, mosques, the religious institutions in America and in the Western world, as probably for the whole world actually, but I'm more concerned about my own country, has nothing of any value in churches, synagogues, period. There's nothing of any value in any of them. They're all man-made corporations. They've all played the whore with the church, with government, with the religio-political, military, industrial complex. It's one big, huge whorehouse of money, corruption, and politics. And I believe that there is a profound presence in the world that we call God, whatever God is. But I am totally sure that God, there is one. And whatever there is it's going to deal with the human race. And people know that there's some serious problems coming, but they have no idea in the world how serious it's really going to be. Because when you get these kind of people running the U.S. government and running governments around the world that don't mind sawing children's heads off and killing you and throwing you into prison, when you have no laws to protect you, we as human beings on this earth are in serious trouble. You have no idea in the world how serious this trouble that's coming really is. So I would suggest, and I've had people tell me, well, what can you advise us? You should give us something of hope. No, the only hope, as far as I'm concerned, the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah. So the only thing I would suggest that I know works, and this is very, very important, and I think you should listen to this and try it, Just understand that you are a biological battery. You are a biological electrical unit, like a radio or television, and you can receive waves from somewhere else. You can receive spiritual knowledge. I would suggest each one of you find a place where there's nobody around and sit and talk audibly with the spirit world. It's called prayer, but I'm not talking about the nonsense that these people are pushing for prayer, because there's a very big difference in I should explain to you this. Faith, the very word faith, is misunderstood in the Christian and Western world. Faith is not what you think it is. The very word faith is a word that means, and the only way I can describe it is that when you get up in the morning, you put your feet on the floor and you didn't look on the floor to see if there was a floor there. But you just got up and put your feet on the floor, not even thinking about it. Why didn't you check to see if there was a floor there? It just has always been there. Obviously it's there, and so why would you make a big to-do over looking for a floor if you know it's there? That's what faith is. That's what faith means. To do something and just assume that God will be there. And every time it is there. The divine spirit in the universe is always there. It's just you that's been out. But the divine spirit is always there. And so seek and you will find. Ask and you will receive. You have not, the Bible has Jesus saying, you have not because you ask not. And the whole world is looking for spirituality. It's right there in you. All you got to do is talk to the Spirit. So just find a place quiet and sit down and talk audibly. Has to be audible. The spirit world has to hear you. Something about that, I don't know how it works, but the spirit world, or whatever you want to call God, wants to hear it. So you talk audibly to the Spirit and ask the Spirit to protect you, to guide you, to make sure you meet the right person, to make sure you hear the right thing, make sure you don't get in trouble, and show me what I'm supposed to do, protect me. Whatever is to happen in the city, protect me, show me what I have to do, show me what I'm supposed to learn, and I will do it, and protect me. Talk. Because what you don't know is there is an intelligence watching you right now. You just didn't know it. I mean, we know that the government's watching us, and they're very silent. God is watching you too. The Spirit of God is watching each one of us. You just didn't know it. And it's watching to see what you're going to do with your life. And it's kind of like it doesn't intervene necessarily in your life. Just watch what that person's doing. And if they don't want spiritual direction and protection, well, you have not because you ask not. Ask and you will receive. So I would suggest that each one of you talk to the Spirit, ask the Spirit to protect you, to guide you, to make sure you learn what you're supposed to learn, know what you're supposed to know, and then, most important, ask the Spirit to show me that you are hearing me. Give me a sign that you're hearing me, and I'm not talking to myself. So show me a sign that you're hearing, that you're here with me and you're hearing me. Show me something so I will know that you're hearing me. Watch what happens. Because if scary things start happening around you, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and there's some kind of a glowing figure there by your bed, or something like that happens to you, and it scares the pee-wads out of you, well, you did ask, didn't you? You said, show me. And I'm telling you, the Spirit will do something to get your attention, and it will be scary. But it will be the first time that you will actually know that there is a spirit world watching you, because you said, show me that you're here. They will. You ask, you will receive. But then when that happens, don't be afraid, because actually you're the one that asked to be shown. And they will begin to guide you, and you all of a sudden will meet the right person. You will find the things that you really need will just pop in on you out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, your life will start smoothing out. And because, why? Because for the first time, you're not being arrogant, self-centered, egotistical, know-it-all, but be humble and ask the Spirit, show me what I'm supposed to do, and I'll do it. Protect me and show me where I'm supposed to meet, who I'm supposed to meet, what I'm supposed to learn. Show me and I will do it. And then show me that you're hearing me, and watch what happens. That's spirituality. This is corporate government. Thank you.